apparently the person who lives below me is growing mushrooms in their shower.
Yeah.
And apparently it's because of a leak from my shower upstairs. I don't know, but it's been going on for a bit. And I just want to be back in my apartment because it's been really inconvenient. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of
Just One Bite.
I'm one of your hosts, Tiff at Take One for the Road.
And I'm Nina at Psycho Food.
And today, as you can see, we are not in our normal filming spot. We are
leaving Tiff's apartment.
Temporarily.
Yes. So we had I'm saying it like I also live in this apartment, but Tiff has some remodeling that she's doing in her bathroom in her own unit. So now we're here
in a different unit.
Yes. So
because they have to reconstruct my whole shower.
Yes.
Because apparently the person who lives below me is growing mushrooms in their shower.
Yeah.
And apparently it's because of a leak from my shower upstairs. I don't know, but it's been going on for a bit. And I just want to be back in my apartment because it's been really inconvenient. But,
definitely. You know us, the Mercury retrograde episode hit us hard, and it's been hitting hard ever since.
Yep, it has not ended. I thought it was supposed to end last week.
Or like a couple weeks ago or whatever, but now it's like, here we are.
Again.
Yeah.
More unlucky things happening. But it's okay. We're making it work.
Yes, we're surviving at least.
We're on an air mattress in the other unit.
Yeah, we're in an air mattress. I'm quitting my job. I'm kidding. Like, no,
Or
but
are you?
we don't know. But I this is, as you can see from like the thumbnail and then from the title of this video, we wanted to talk about just what life is, about the hustle life, but then also if you're like a post grad or you're like in the middle of a career change, like what is it like to be living a flexible life and then exchanging it for a traditional job that our parents wanted us to be in. But if you guys don't know, I think like me and Tiff are good examples of like, I guess, opposites, because Tiff has actually a traditional job in addition to doing like the content creation. But then for me, like I do have like a job, but then it's more in social media and I do like content creation a good chunk of the time, and so my work schedule is very flexible and I don't have to clock in like she does like regularly, like Monday to Friday and stuff. And so if you guys know me in the food space, you kind of know that I have a very like food like schedule because I work in an agency that works with food. But so I'm gonna take this. It's so hot.
So you're going back to your 5 to 9 now?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's been something in my mind about going back to like a 9 to 5 job or just like pursuing like more of an office career, as much as it's painful before of me saying that. Not really painful. It's just like, I think when we had like graduated and then when I had graduated school back in like lockdown era, it was kind of a weird time because there wasn't a lot of like job opportunities. I got laid off during that time too. So I didn't know what a best option would be for me. So that's why I ended up going towards social media and then just making ways to like obviously like enjoy myself with like content creation, but then also learning how to brand myself, learning how to like just figure out little side jobs here and there to just make, what is it, dues end? What is it? Pays end? You know what it means?
It's make dues end.
Yeah. And I think from that time
ends meet.
Yeah, make ends meet because because I was just literally hustling the whole time. And then just trying to figure out like ways that I can use my creativity. And so I think with just this discussion, if you're able to like relate to it, and if maybe you're in a career change like maybe me, where I'm kind of considering like what would be like another next steps for me. But I wanted to talk to you first about like what it's like for you, Tiff, because you work in finance, as you guys know, but then you don't have to say the name of the company, but she definitely worked at one of like the big financial firms, and
Long ago,
and that's like, if you guys don't know, like even I'm not a finance, I'm not an accounting person, but I have a lot of friends who are, and the whole system is like you're going to school, like in college, try to meet people who work at one of the big firms, and then try to get into their summer program, and then with the hopes that after the summer program, and then after maybe you graduate, you go into one of these financial firms, or like they offer you like a full-time position, and that was like the roadmap, to success, and everyone should be like doing it too. And if you don't get recruited, it's like weird. But
I feel like I think my journey started almost a decade ago, even longer. I started recruiting sophomore year, because now I'm sure they have even freshman year programs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But basically, because a lot of people in my fraternity work for the Big Four. I just, kind of fell into it. We all did. We just all assumed that was our path, and that's what we needed to do. So started recruiting a bit sophomore year for the summer leadership program.
Yeah.
And you're like networking, you're mingling. They take into consideration your resume, your GPA, and interviews.
Yeah.
And then I did 2 summer leadership programs with 2 of the Big Four.
Yeah, so need to remind everyone, this is like in college, like while she's in classes and stuff.
Yeah. So, and this is like sophomore year, which is kind of young to start this process.
Yeah, you're like, what, 18, 19 at the time?
Yeah, you're pretty young. And then you do the summer leadership program, which is like a day or 2. And then depending on how you connect with people, how, you network with people, if you vibe with them and stuff, usually they'll offer you an internship opportunity for the following year.
Yeah.
So that would mean, as long as I kept my GPA up and things like that, I would be good to go to get an internship after my junior year.
Yeah.
Which is a year away, So I ended up doing the summer leadership, hit it off with them, and then got internship opportunities for the following year, accepted one with one of the firms that I really vibed with, and I just thought like we had similar values. And then did that junior year. After my junior year, did their summer internship for a few months, and then you finish the internship. As long as you don't as long as you like do a decent job and you like show up and try, you get offered a full-time position for after you graduate senior year. So then after senior year, that's where I went. I went straight to Big Four. Started working. My journey was a little bit more rough, to say the least. And you at the end of the day, you do it because you're gonna learn a lot. What people learn what people learn in a few months at the Big Four, when you're like in an outs, like you're outside of that public industry, it would take people like 1 to 3 years to learn what we learn in like 6 months. So it's a very steep learning curve. But I learned so much, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity just to have that experience where they really teach you from bottom up everything you need to know.
So basically it's like they lay out the whole like framework for you, because it's like, as someone who is not like a finance or accounting like major, it was kind of like, it seems awesome, because you guys get something that was so laid out, and it's like almost the reassurance that you're gonna get this opportunity. But then for like a lot of other people, they don't get to have a laid out roadmap
it's a very clear roadmap. And like it's like what you need to succeed kind of a thing. And they have like resources for that these days. I'm sure even now, 10 years later, they have even more resources.
So you did the whole experience at working with one of the like bigger financial firms. So after that, like, what was your experience like? Because a lot of people, I'm sure, can relate if they actually did get a job after college, and then they're in a job, and then they're just kind of like living this newfound work life, and
there's a hard adjustment. I would say. I mean, internship, I got a little taste of it, right? But this was hard because coming out of college, you're used to your classes being spread out. You have time to see your friends.
They're socializing.
Socialize. You could take a nap whenever you wanted. I actually found it hard in the beginning. I think a lot of my friends struggled too. It was like, you have to wake up so early in the morning and you don't get off till late at night,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just exhausted, you know? I don't think people, like, they don't prepare you for adulthood.
Yeah.
You're exhausted, and especially if you're at the Big Four, you're working longer hours too. Like, I'm working, like, during busy season, at least 60 to 80 hours weeks,
Yeah, that's a
right?
long time.
So it's not just your normal 9 to 5. I'd be starting at like 8, sometimes get home at 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's just how it works.
Like, how is that even possible? Like, that you have to stay.
It was a lot. And that's why I was like, you know, props to everyone who's been through it, because I think if you've never experienced that kind of a work culture, like, you just wouldn't understand. And that's why I think I appreciate like an actual normal 9 to 5 now, where it's like I clock in at 9, I clock out at 5.
Yeah.
Because you can actually like have a nice work-life balance. But back in the day, it was my entire life was just work. Work and study, because I was trying to study for the CPA exam at the same time. But work was so much that I didn't even have time to study, didn't have time to see my friends on the weekends, because I would
that's
have to
hard.
work weekends, lived at home. Even just like the month of February, during the busiest time of year for busy season, I lived at home, didn't even see my mom for the entire month. She's sleeping in the room next to me.
Yeah.
But I'm waking up every day at like 6:37. Gotta drive to the metro station, take a metro, get to work, take Uber home. By the time I get home, it's 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a long
my
time.
mom's like, I'm not seeing my mom at all. I'm not really seeing my family.
Yeah.
So that was quite an experience. But you know, I'm still very grateful for everybody that I met there. Everyone was so kind and so helpful, and like I'm still good friends with some of the people till this day.
But it's like the change. What was the change for you where you were like, okay, I've learned everything I need to know? Or did you feel like, okay, now it's time to leave?
I think usually most people, you want to get to at least the senior level, which
Which is like year 3 or 4,
year
right?
3, yes. And you want to have at least 1 year of busy season under your belt as a senior. So it's like, yeah, I left around the 2.5-3 year mark.
Yeah.
After 1 busy season as a senior. And then, you know, for me, accounting just wasn't for me. I wanted like a better work-life balance. You know?
Yeah.
Like
Some people don't realize that it's really necessary to have that balance. Like, I know people are like, no, I can do it. But then even for the people who are like the strongest people that you think are like, oh, they're the best like leaders, and maybe there are some people out there who can really balance it, but then I think for most people it's so hard to get that if your whole day is gone and you only have 4 hours to yourself, and that's composed of sleeping.
Yeah, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes I would think, like I would joke, like I'd be making more at McDonald's down the street, because I was salary. I wasn't getting paid overtime for these hours.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me it was just really hard adjusting from college to full-time working that many hours. Like I'd be so tired.
Yeah.
You know, I would,
unimaginable time.
I think, and then I have friends who like work in investment banking, which is even like harder. They're working like 100-hour weeks.
Yeah.
I remember my friend would say like a lot of his peers would take like toilet naps. And I was like, what's a toilet? They'd be so exhausted. They would go to the bathroom and pretend to be like going number 2.
Yeah.
And just like knock out on the toilet for like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Because they were so exhausted.
But 10 minutes isn't even that long.
I know it's not much, but it's like something, you know. And I think I remember like it being a hard adjustment for me, because I would be like dozing off around like the 2 to 3 p.m. mark.
Yeah.
And then I have to still continue working. But, you know, you get used to it over time. I think the hardest part after transitioning from college is, like, you know, working the full time and then also, like, adjusting to adulting. Because there's a lot of things they don't teach you when it comes to adulting. There's a lot of things you're encountering that you didn't encounter in college. You know, like paying your bills. If you live on your own, that's also a different challenge, too. Just, like, all these things, like doing your taxes and, like, a lot of inconveniences that come up that for some reason in college never really happened. Like college feels just like its own dystopian world, and then you come back to, like, when you start your full-time job and you're starting, like, you're out of college, it just feels like you're getting hit with reality.
Yeah, there needs to be some like middle ground of like how do you do things, but
and so and then for me, I think I was also burnt out when I wanted to, and that's like around the 2.5 mark. I just needed a change of pace. Like
Did you travel at all during that time? Like
I would travel only when I had paid time off.
Which is how long though? Like
maybe like 2-3 weeks out of the year.
Okay.
It wasn't, but the problem is when you're working for firms like that, just because you have 2 to 3 weeks doesn't mean you can take it. It's like based off of your work schedule that they put you on, your project schedule. If there's like closings and things like that, filings, you have to plan around that. And it's hard because it's like you want to go on vacation with people like your family, your friends, who also have their own work schedules they have to work around.
Yeah.
You know? So you might put in like a vacation request, but they're like, you can't take it. We need you here.
Yeah, that's pretty difficult. I think I don't know how to say like I'm not good with authority, but it's
also like, I get.
But it's not like I rebel, you know. But it's like I don't do well if I'm like told like I have to do something. Like I'll do it, but then it's just like I get frustrated. I get frustrated, and I'm like, because I also don't really confront and say what I want to feel, and then I'm just gonna be defiant in my own mind that I'm like I should be taking this, I deserve it, you know. But with a schedule like that, you feel like I just realized there's a hole in my sock.
Most of us we always joke like we were like corporate slaves.
Yeah, because it was just
it's a lot.
You're taking the time away from what you might want to do, like seeing your friends, personal life.
So that's why I understand why some people coming in, at least nowadays, coming out of college, maybe they don't want to do the 9 to 5. You know, like maybe they want to have that flexibility to start their own thing, do their own thing, and I totally get it because a 9 to 5 isn't for everybody.
It's not.
You know, I like having structure and like security and things like that, and that's part of the reason why I stay at like a 9 to 5, not because necessarily I enjoy the work I'm doing,
but
it's giving me peace of mind.
You want
some aspect of my life.
And then obviously the benefit of having a 9 to 5 is that you get like your benefits, and then like taxes taken out, because
everything's like taken care of for me in that regard. You know, I have like insurance and things like that.
But I definitely know a lot of people relating to how you're feeling, where after like a couple years working at one of the major firms, they wanted like a different change of pace. And right now, like I have friends right now who've transition from that place going to just like a regular financial department or something.
That's what I did too. Like after 2.5 years doing audit, I switched to a private real estate company, did finance for them, learned a lot too, so grateful, and was working definitely less hours than I was at the Big Four, but you know, at least here was learning a new skill and getting paid a little bit more, so it made it worth it. And then, you know, did another 2.5-3 years there as well. And then it was, you know, time for me to leave and onto something else because, you know, that company started growing really fast because they were doing so well. And I started finding myself working more hours for the company. And then, you know, around that time is kind of when my hobby in social media blew up. And I was really enjoying like that hobby and like being able to like have that creative outlet and do creative things that, you know, I started reconsidering my career path. So I actually started looking into social media jobs to switch into full time. But then, you know, I wasn't really seeing anything that
it's really hard
with my life and what I wanted. So, you know, ended up transitioning to a different position that a friend had like recommended me. Like he sent me the job listing and was like, oh, I think you should try for this. So then I did, and then that's where I am now. And I have like great work-life balance. But it was like a journey to get to where I am today, I would say. And, you know, now at my 9 to 5, it's a little bit better, like work-life balance wise. But this 9 to 5 allows me to have a 5 to 9. Whereas in my past 9 to 5s, I did not have a 5 to 9 because it wasn't a 9 to 5, essentially. It was like a 9 to 9, 9 to 12, if anything, you know?
Like, it's really hard to find a job that would offer that 5 to 9, because if you're somewhere, like, in those major firms, like, there's no way that you're going to get your own time. But then it's also, like, if you guys are, like, in social media or in marketing, you probably feel my boat where it's hard to find, like, a marketing job where it's weird, where you need X amount of experience in order for this entry-level position. And you're kind of like, why would I need, like, like 5 years of experience for an entry level. And then marketing is also a very broad space, so even if you're looking for a social media job, like that's not to say that you won't do like data, or when you're doing marketing you have to know how to do sales. And it's like just a weird like combination of things that people just either have too much experience, no experience, or it's just like weird qualifications that is also like so much to do, I feel like, because it's in like marketing jobs, I feel like the task list is so great and the amount of pay isn't amounting enough for that amount of work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of a weird limbo, but it's like a lot of people want to like stay creative, and then they think marketing is like the best bet. And I'm speaking from like experience, but then I also have to remember like how are other creative outlets that you can expel like your creativity. And we did talk about this sort of on another episode about like how you need to get a hobby and stuff, because I think hobbies are really important and you should really implement that in your life. And that's not just like something that all people can do, you know, like it's something that you can call your own, and it's maybe like a craft that you can like level up in. But you should always have that, because if you can't have a creative outlet, at least you have some like a hobby that can either make you creative or just have that expel of energy and mind, because it'll make you like think and stuff. But yeah, if you haven't checked that episode out, that's a few episodes back. But yeah, from my experience was kind of like a little different from TIFF, where like I mentioned that I was like on lockdown, got laid off, and then had to find a different way. And I definitely lived the life of trying to find side hustles, of just building money on my own, because I can't just create the opportunity, or if I'm not getting the opportunity somewhere else, I have to create that own opportunity for myself. And so like TIFF 2, I started doing social media. And I was already doing that in college, but I was really thinking, how can I make this a lot more? And then how can I connect more with my community, or like brands and stuff, and people that I would want to work for, you know, like if I can't work with them like in an office job, how can I work them in another way? So like maybe for an example, like if you're looking at like Jollibee, you know, like I think that would have been really cool to work for, like for Jollibee. And then I didn't get that opportunity, obviously, but at least I had the opportunity to work with them on like a food collaboration. So I think I tried to sorry I had to change my mindset to like how can I make it more worthwhile for my like own experience. So yeah, I think after college, like I mean during college I was one of those people who was like into doing like photography-ish, where I was doing like headshots for like people, or like doing grad pictures, but I wasn't like the best, you know. But I also was trying to like do social media management at that time too, where I was running like just someone's Instagram. Like there was this one cheese shop that I worked for.
What shop?
A cheese shop.
Interesting.
Yeah, I worked for a cheese shop, but I did their social media, and that was like one of my first experiences working with like a company and then handling their socials. Didn't work out though, which is fine. Yeah. But then because I had that, I gained more experience too, because I had that under my belt. And when I was going out to food collaborations, like some of the restaurants would be like, hey, like we're kind of looking for someone who could take content and create like our page, like would you be like willing to like do our socials and stuff? And so obviously I said yes at the time, and then that's how I started building my like reputation almost. But it wasn't unfamiliar of how to handle like social media accounts, because I had internships like during school, like working for like different marketing departments. So I think I definitely had that already on my belt, but the social media management I was definitely getting more into. And then just like creating content for them and different brands, like you just need to package yourself really well, and then just make do that way. But I think over time too, like I was like, you know, I don't want to just like work for like one brand. I think my whole attraction to working in an agency was like, oh, you can work with multiple brands. And as someone who's young, you're like, yeah, like I could definitely like keep it up. Like I want to do that. I want to work with this person, this person, this person. And so that was kind of the mentality I was going into. But then now that I've had like maybe like 5 or 6 years of like agency experience now, it's like it's fun in a way, and it's great that I learned a lot, but it's also like your mind is going to go everywhere because you're working with so many different personalities, like clients. And then for me, I'm just like, I think I definitely ran the burner for a really long time, and I'm just like exhausted, just mentally. And I think that's where my mind is, where I'm like, okay, yeah, I think working for one brand is really attractive because then that's the only thing you can focus on. But then also with one brand, you can do a lot of things. And I think I would have only realized that like thing unless I was working with other brands, because I'm like, with other brands, like they're all doing different campaigns and stuff, and I was like, oh, that person can also do a similar campaign to this, or oh yeah, like these are the type of seasons, like maybe football seasons that, or basketball season, you can relate to the actual food brand. So there's a lot of possibilities, but I wouldn't have realized that without working at agencies. But yeah, like I think now it's like now that I'm older too, I'm like, I just want to settle on one thing. And what you were saying about the structure, I think that's what, for me personally, like I am someone who really thrives when I feel stable, and stability and structure are kind of in the same family, I think. And so because I've had so much flexibility with my agency like work and what I'm doing now, it's like sometimes I feel like I have too much flexibility, and I don't know if I just became a little bit more lazy, and in addition, I got burnt out, so I don't want to do anything. So it's kind of a weird realm of like feeling I'm exhausted, but I'm also feeling like I'm not doing enough too. And maybe this is like the quarter life crisis too that was speaking to me.
I think you're just burnt out, because I think what's common is I think everyone goes through this. When you graduate college, you are hungry to like work, to learn.
Yeah.
Right? Because you've done the whole college thing, you graduated, now you want to like prove yourself and make money, yada yada yada. So you have all this energy. And I think we all are like that in the beginning, where it's like we think we can do like a 2-hour commute or 3-hour round trip commute every day to and from work, because we're like, oh, that's easy peasy, we can do it because we have all this energy. And then over time, you see it shave away on our life. And it's kind of like us, like even you right now, right? Like working at agency for so long, you're starting to get burnt out, or you stay at a job for a while, you start to get burnt out, and then the things you thought you wanted coming out of college start to shift, start to change, because now you're faced with the actual reality of it. Like I think what you have in mind before, it seems so glamorous, but then when you actually have a taste of what it really is after college, working full time and doing all these things, it's not as
easy as you think. I think we both have the similarity about like trying to figure out your taxes and stuff, because unlike like TIFF, where maybe they take it
me like a W-2, I just fill it out and I'm good to go,
and then for me, like because I have multiple like streams of income, it's like I have to collect all these and do not the accounting, but just like the like documenting it myself of where all my income is coming from, because it's not just like the agency work, it's like my brand deals and all the other side stuff that I do. And it's like there's so many like little rules, and I have to like calculate that.
And this is like stuff they don't teach you in college, which I feel like they should. Like even I was an accounting major, and tax wasn't even a mandatory class. It was like I could take audit or I could take tax. Obviously I chose audit because I was going down the audit route.
Yeah.
Now looking back, maybe I should have taken tax, because is audit really going to help me in the real world?
True. No. Tax is more like personal to people. So
yeah,
so that's something that I had to like figure out on my own. And then, I mean, I had great people and just like resources online to like help me learn, but it's not easy just having like a flexible schedule as everyone like kind of thinks. And then sometimes like with my schedule, you have to sacrifice like weekends and stuff, which is also kind of like common, but it's fun, you know, like because I get to meet a lot of people. But then even with like working with brands or doing collaborations, you're doing it like on the weekend, or you're 5 to 9. So it's like, if you also start perceiving it as work, you're gonna feel like, okay, I don't really have time for myself, which I'm kind of in that run.
End up not really enjoying it later down the road.
Yeah.
And then you start to also think like, you know, as you get older, do you want to be sacrificing your time off or your weekends to be working when, you know, you probably want to settle down, have a family, spend time with your kids? It's like, there's so many things to consider. But when you're young, it's different. You know, when you're young, you have the weekends and the flexibility and the hunger to the drive to work. And like,
but you're sacrificing all that time where you're maybe in your, not necessarily like prime, but just like that time that you gave away from your young adulthood, and then it's just gone forever, you know, not gone forever, but just like you can't live the same way.
It's another thing you have to consider. And I think this varies for everyone, because at the end of the day, it's like one person could want a different life than the other, right? Like for me, I did the big four and like put in my dues and did the hours, but then I was like, I want out because I want to enjoy my life. I don't care about like making the money anymore, you know? But I do have friends who are in different industries where it's like they work a lot, they make a ton of money, but they basically gave up a lot of the fun in their 20s. And then now I'm like asking them in their 30s, I was like, you need to learn to live a little, because now looking back on your life, what can you say you did in your 20s? You just worked.
No, literally.
Like, you should be so proud that you are like at like such a high level at work, but you know, and you made a lot of money, but then it's like you sacrifice, like you never, like you missed out on a lot of your friends and family's birthdays. You missed out on like even just dating, you know, or like things that are like suddenly are important to you now, but it's like
you realize it. No, literally.
You realize it now, but it's also like a little it's not too late, obviously, but you missed out like a full 10 years, and then the realization hits.
No, literally, because we were talking about this on like the hobbies episode, because we were saying like when you ask people like who maybe are like workaholics, and then you ask them like, oh, so like what are some of your hobbies, and then they can't answer, it's like that's when I think hits them where they're like, okay, do I actually have any interest? Like, what do I do? Like, just work, you know? And you don't want to end up in that situation. And I'm only saying that because I feel like I felt that way, and I know that my friends have felt that way, where like work just consumed their whole life, and it's like, okay, what do I actually get excited about? And then you kind of just don't know, and you don't want to feel like you're missing out on like developing your character. Like, as much as like work is a great definition of who people are and maybe what they're like
but it
passionate for,
define you.
Yeah, it shouldn't define you. Like, even if it's like a career that you're like very passionate in, like you shouldn't forget about like what are other things that make your like personality and what makes it like you know.
Yeah, like you have one life to live. You're gonna we already, I think, even just working a normal 9 to 5, we spend so much time working. You know, we work 5 days a week, and we get 2 days off on the weekends, and one of them is spent doing like errands and stuff. So you only
like the reset day.
Yeah, you only truly have one day off, and it's like we already spend so much time working.
Yeah.
Like, I want to enjoy this life that I have. You know?
And you know what's interesting too? This definitely needs to be another like episode too, where people who are missing out on their 20s, and then they hit 30, and then people are saying like, oh, 30s are the new 20s.
I think they are, and I actually am enjoying my 30s more than my 20s. Not saying I didn't enjoy my 20s. I loved my 20s. I loved all the memories I made with my friends, and all the like drunken nights, and you know,
like
just being silly and like young, dumb, and stupid nights. But now it's like I feel like I know who I am. I've really discovered myself through my 20s, and now I've also built myself up in my career where I have money to spend. You know, I might not have as much energy I did in my 20s, but I still have enough where it's like I can still go out and do all these things I want to do. And like still, you know, if I want to go get drunk with my friends, I can still do that. You know, my body might not feel great the next day, but at least I have the money to afford these things. I can still be making these memories. And, you know, I'm a little bit wiser, so I'm not going to like make as many stupid decisions, obviously.
Yeah, people don't have to feel bad that their 30s, like they're old, you know, because I feel like everyone's like thinking like, oh, we're old now that we're in our 30s.
People think 30 is old, and now that I've hit, because I think when we're young, I thought people in their 30s were freaking old. I was like, oh. I was like, you're so old, like boomer, right?
Yeah.
Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm like, I literally feel so young. Like I'm still using Gen Z slang.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I'm still like doing the TikTok dances that all the kids are doing.
Yeah.
Like they probably see me as really old and weird for doing these things, but I feel so young still. To be honest.
Wait till when you guys hit 30s and you're gonna be one to not be called 30.
Dude,
but
yeah.
Yeah,
I can
no.
still keep up with some of the high schoolers, like at summer camp too. You know, it's like,
yeah.
honestly, I feel like I've been mistaken as one of them because I still look like them. You know?
Yeah. There's like, I think too, I don't know what it is about maybe kind of our generation. We took care of our bodies. I wouldn't say like we're the healthiest of people, you know, but I definitely think like because the way our community is, our generation is like, oh, you should work out, you should live your life. I don't know if people are becoming a little less stressed, so that's why we're like living it out in our 30s and we have that ability to like live out longer. And then also people in their 30s, they don't have kids right away, so then they kind of wait until their 30s until to have kids. So
you're
even
seeing like a delay. A lot of my friends, they've been together for a while, and you would think that most people were getting married in like their mid
20s or something,
even late 20s. Now most of my friends are just getting married now, or starting to get engaged in their early 30s. You know, and I think back then, like my mom had me when she was 30, and I felt like that was almost taboo, like that was like considered old.
Oh, it's too old. Right?
And then now I'm like, I'm past the age that my mom had me, and I'm like nowhere near having kids right now. I still want to like do my own thing, explore the world before making that commitment, and having that responsibility. There's
still much more life to live too, and it's not to say like having kids like early is bad. It's just
not
like
at all,
when you're at this pace of living in a work field and then you don't really have time to live for yourself, or you have so much life to live that having kids is really a different chapter if you're like tired of that life, you know.
It is, and like eventually I want to get to that chapter. But right now that's not for me, and that's okay. But I have friends who are ready, and like I'm so excited for them. And like I'm obsessed with my college roommate's baby. You know, like she had her baby a year and a half ago.
Nice.
And it's like
cute.
It's so cute. You know? It's like I want that one day. It's
Yeah.
not for me right now, but
Yeah.
every time I look at him, I'm like, my ovaries.
Oh yeah.
He's so cute.
Yeah, but speaking on to like the whole like 9 to 5, 5 to 9 situation, I know a lot of people also feel like, oh, they're in their 9 to 5, but they don't make enough money, so that's why they have to have a 5 to 9. And maybe sometimes the intention of making more money is maybe they're traveling, yes, but then also to like start a family and just save money faster. And it's kind of just this weird thing where you have to like you feel like you have to keep working in order to have these like life experiences, and that's also a different perspective too.
No, I mean, I agree, because if you think about it, inflation has hit so hard over the years. You know, the cost of living has gone up significantly, but people's salaries have not gone up to match those living costs. So it's like,
what's happening?
Like honestly, people use like my goal as like when I was younger, my friends and I were like, I hope we can like make 6 figures, yada, yada, yada. Like 6 figures, we've made it, you know? Now, 6 figures, is that enough for me to live comfortably?
It's weird.
It might not be, you know? Like, so you have to, everyone's, you know, has like some sort of side hustle.
I have a side hustle. And you know, I think also like in our parents' generation, like sometimes not both parents had to work because one was kind of enough, but then now it's like, definitely like people have two, definitely two, even if it's like in the double 6 figures, like that's crazy that you have to think you have to make both parents need to make that much money in order to like
everything's just so expensive now. So it's like I totally get why people are doing Uber driving at night or people work multiple jobs to be able to provide for a better life for their family. And for that I really respect them for it, because I think the same way too now. Like I try to do things to make a few bucks here and there. Because I always think it's actually easier to make $1 than to save $1. So I get it.
Have you ever seen that one thing where it's like, oh, if you sell a product for like X amount and you sell 10 of those products, then you'll make like $10,000 or something?
Are those like MLM pyramid schemes?
No. I'm saying like as like a perspective, like not like a pyramid scheme, but it's just like to put in perspective, like. Let's say that you have a product and then you spend like the product's like $50, and then like if you sell 4 of those you make $100. But then if you put in perspective, if you make like if each product that you have is $25 and you sell 8 of those items and you have $100, it's just like putting in perspective of like what the dollar thing about. So not MLM thing, like it's just
Sorry, my bad, guys.
It's just saying in perspective. It's just saying in perspective of like how you can really make money. And I definitely think we're going to save this how to start a business in another episode, because we have a couple people in mind that I think are really great on how they start businesses. Like we have a friend named
entrepreneurship.
And sometimes like people just really need to have the idea in order to unlock this entrepreneurial mindset. But I think everyone has the capability of being able to do it. But we have like a friend named Ree, and you might know her because she's made like our charm bracelets. And then
wait, I don't want to show my face, sorry.
Like she's made permanent bracelets. We've made charm bracelets, and she's someone that I think is really cool because she started her own like lash business. Then she started really venturing more into beauty, and then she started doing like permanent bracelet jewelry the charm jewelry. She has like her own self studio thing.
She has multiple businesses.
And I feel like,
and I think she's doing training courses now.
So she like turned her business into something that would be not only something that she's passionate about, but then like something entrepreneurial. But we're gonna save that for like another episode of just like finding different ways on how you can make the 5 to 9, or just making your 5 to 9 your full time too, because I think that's kind of the dream, but it's also hard to have like, again, multiple streams of income.
I mean, it takes a lot of drive and motivation and hard work to get to
but then sometimes
it's worth it,
but then sometimes like you kind of need like to have those entrepreneurial friends to just like open your eyes to like see what you can do. Like I have friends who've like started their own like sticker business from just like, even if it's something so small like or just like starting off small with just like enamel pin, just stickers, and then they've progressed to doing like packages, or they're doing like other stationery items or like tote bags, and just really transforming their business. And then from there too, like they start selling at like major like events like the OC Fair or like Anime Expo, or just like other ways, or like the night market. I feel like that's a very common OC type of, or just like SoCal Asian business owner, because
people, they start off at like those types of little
they start off at those
blue booths at the fair,
like the 626 night market or like Foodie Land. Like they all have like regular vendors and small businesses that they feature, and then they host a booth, and then they host a booth the whole weekend. And even though it's like a lot of work because you have to be there the whole day, and it's the summertime and it's hot, but I think those people do really well during those times, because that's where they get their product out there and really shown.
And there's a lot of people who come to these things. Like I hear it's like 25,000 people a day at the 626 night market. Every day 25,000 people. Crazy.
I mean, if you guys put in perspective too, like amusement parks and stuff, I'm saying this because I used to be an EA, like a hospitality major, but then this is kind of like a rough number, but like Disneyland basically gets like 100,000 like people, but I think it ranges between like in combination of all the parks, so for Disney World, and that's like kind of including like the workers there too. But then if you put it in perspective, like an event like the OC Fair or something, or 626, they have like kind of a quarter of that amount, you know, every day. So that's kind of a good thing. But obviously it's hard because you're fighting for the spot. But yeah, I think sometimes you just need to be like aware of like who's around you to like how can you like take your business and how can you take something that you really enjoy and then making it like full time. Yeah, like for an example, like my boyfriend, he just started getting into like, or not just started, he got into DJing like a couple years ago. And then for him there's like not a huge demand, but there's definitely like a demand for like wedding DJs and stuff. And obviously like he's kind of a more EDM DJ, but then he was like, oh yeah, no, of course he knows a lot of music, so he finds ways to do that. And also I had a professor at my college who was a DJ, but he's not like an EDM DJ or anything, but he was just like someone who does like throwbacks and stuff. And then he actually started Twitch, or he streaming. Yeah, and then on Twitch, fun fact, if you don't know like the realm of like Twitch, you basically can get donations, like people who send you gifts. You get paid subscribers and stuff, and then sponsors and stuff. So there's a whole like money system in this whole like streaming industry. And I definitely think that's something that I wish I got into like sooner, because there's so many ways that people can make money on, not just, you don't have to game and stuff, but for example, with my professor, he was DJing like 30 days in a row or X amount of days in a row. And then he would get subscribers. He would get bookings from that because people knew that he was a DJ and he was really good character and stuff. And not that he was like struggling as like a professor, because obviously like he was one of the main like heads for the department, but then he wasn't in it for the money, but that's also a side thing that he can do. So I think he definitely gets a lot of experience just making like means ends. So yeah, not means ends, but he just makes like he makes it worthwhile to have like money can flow anyway or anywhere. So yeah, a lot of possibilities.
I feel like there's like you said, there's a lot of possibilities. There's so many things people can do that's like not their 9 to 5 and turn it into their 5 to 9. And you never know, you know, like especially if you're thinking about it, I go for it. Just do it. You never know where it could take you.
You
even just have to like be consistent and like work at your craft. But as long as you are consistent and you are passionate about it and you want to make it happen, you should just go for it.
Yeah, and it's like kind of weird because when we were younger, people were like, oh, I don't want to work for someone because you're going to work to pay, you're working for someone who's making money, you're working for someone else's money instead of you making your own money. But sometimes that's what I'm saying, like you really need to have like hobbies and outside stuff and go out there, because you'll start to see that there's so many other opportunities that you can get and work for yourself. Because I think that at the end of the day, people want to work for themselves, or they want to like,
to an extent,
or they just want to make money for themselves.
I mean, no, I agree.
But I think also speaking from the whole like 9 to 5, 5 to 9, like there's no issue in doing either or you can really do both. But if you're someone who's thinking about quitting their 9 to 5, I think that was such a whole topic before back in the day, like everyone all wants to quit their 9 to 5.
Well, because influencers glamorize it so much, you know. A few years ago on TikTok, that's what you would see, like a day in a life as like an influencer or as a full-time content creator, and people were obsessed with watching those videos because, you know, every day is gonna look different. But then what I've noticed in the last year or two, there's been a shift. People are starting to prefer following people who have 9 to 5 jobs because at the end of the day, that's more relatable. You know, not everyone on this planet is an influencer or content creator, but you know, most people on this planet do have a normal 9 to 5 job, and that's more relatable. And so the thought of, you know, not having a 9 to 5, or people are actually going back to having a 9 to 5 because, I don't know, it didn't work out for them, or like being full-time content creator wasn't sustainable. You're starting to see that, or maybe because of the economy, you know. I think even last year people weren't getting as many brand deals. You know, the economy is just not doing great. So, you know, you're starting to see that shift where people are trying to go back to 9 to 5 because you have a steady paycheck. sometimes when you run your own business, you don't know when the next paycheck is, right? But with a 9 to 5, it's consistent. You know when your next paycheck is coming in. You know, like, the jobs you need to do to get that paycheck. It's just you get a little bit more peace of mind. So
yeah, and there's like so many ways that I think like people just need to be aware of. Like, if you're someone who sells like a product, you know, like I saw that people, like, obviously small businesses have been turning to like TikTok and TikTok shop to sell their items and stuff. So that's why a lot of small businesses are like upset, because they were like, well, we don't want TikTok to go away because it's like one of the major places that we can like share our platform while also making content and stuff. So that's kind of difficult. But I also see that there's like a whole new like thing where people are live streaming and selling their products on live stream.
No, they do. There's an actual shop here in Santa Monica on 3rd Street Promenade dedicated to that. And when you walk in, I'll show you one day.
No way.
Yeah,
like,
you walk in, there's literally booths and people are there live streaming, selling products.
What?
And
That's
then you can
cool.
buy those products. Like, you probably see people live streaming selling like goalie gummies or things. They sell it there. Or people selling press-on nails, or like just random things you see people selling on TikTok shop. It's being sold at the store, and then throughout the store, it's like a U. There's like little stations, and you see creators literally live streaming, talking to their followers on a live stream, being like, see guys, look how great these nails are, or look how good these gummies are, da 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 da. And they're just talking to this phone and filming, and you can watch them live.
That's so wild. What? I feel like that's such a big industry, and it's so weird because back in the day, like, our parents had those like paid advertisement things like online where they're selling like jewelry and stuff and random products, and it's so interesting now that that's so popular as a live stream. Like, it's not on like a channel or anymore, but it's just like it's like a tab on TikTok or whatever app you use. So it's just so interesting. Like, you know that like Michelle Phan,
I know.
Like, I always bring her up because she's made like millions of dollars like from
TikTok shop,
from using TikTok shop. And she has this like one interview with Zoe Unlimited, and she talks about it like it's not like she was in it really for the like money per se, but she's someone who's very entrepreneurial, but she just wanted to test and see how this would work. And she's making like so much money in like revenue, you know, but that's more than some people get in like one day. So well, not one day, but like 1 year. So if it was in 1 day, I think I don't know what the number amount was, but there was one number that I felt like it was in more than the 6 digits in 1 day. And I was just like, that's actually insane. Yeah. And I'm like so curious on how like the world is going to revert back to, because I definitely think we're reverting back to like some of our old ways, like people wanting to be back in their 9 to 5, or like going back to these weird live streams. And then now commercials are back in like streaming services on Netflix and stuff. So I'm just like, why are we doing this? Like, we're going back in time. And then also like the whole thing about community, where people are like craving it more. So now they're like trying to find different ways, like, oh, we should go out to like pickleball, or like have these experiences like in person, because I think people are just forgetting like, oh, we don't know this life, and they're burnt out from just living at home or just doing nothing. So it's just weird how we're reverting back.
Yeah, I don't know. I always say like history kind of repeats itself.
Yeah,
things always come back.
What do you think is gonna come back in like the job, career, life?
I feel like, we're already saying it, but most like remote jobs, you don't see that anymore.
That's true.
Like, on job listings, you're lucky if you can find a hybrid. Most places want you to come back full time in person.
Yeah, which is so interesting to me, because I feel like that's more like to have them in person.
I think at the end of the day, people like when people show face.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But I want it where like we're in other countries where they like because people are actually not as productive at the end of the day.
I know, like, that's why I think like we should follow like those European countries.
Yeah, because they work
5 hours a day or something
like and then they hire someone else to do the afternoon shift. Yeah, and then like they're obviously more productive because it's the beginning of their shift. But then they pay their employees good, they pay them benefits, pay for their schooling or whatever. So I'm just like, what are we missing?
America's behind.
Yeah, we're kind of behind, but then also like I don't know if they necessarily, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing where they want to like create more jobs for people, but then they want to like kick people out or feel like more people are deserving or not. But it's weird because people who are like the most educated in America, they can't get a job. Like,
I mean, we're seeing that now with recent college grads. They can't even get minimum wage jobs.
yeah, because they're overqualified, which is
Yeah.
bizarre because it's like, how come you just don't have a position that's just qualified
Or
for them?
even just, like entry level positions at companies, like coordinator jobs.
Yeah.
Why do you need 5 years of experience? Why do you
Yeah.
need to do 3 rounds of interviews with assessments? Then it's like, no, that should be for like
Yeah.
a higher role, a higher
Yeah.
ranking role.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of weird, but hopefully we get out of that mindset because it's like people obviously like you kind of defeat the purpose of wanting to seek higher education if you can't get a job that is of that education level.
Yeah.
And it doesn't like encourage people to pursue that higher because it's like, okay, they got a master's, so what? Like,
yeah.
it shouldn't be that way. Like, oh, if you got a master's, that's literally so awesome.
Yeah.
And then you can seek higher, but yeah, it's just like the job market is so weird right now. And then maybe too, like, it's not really worth because even retirement is like not even something that people get because there was a whole issue like last year.
People are retiring later now too. Just
Yeah, because they can't get their retirement.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are they gonna do from like, I don't know, like if your parents are like over their 60s, like you kind of don't want them working, like they should really be able to like live their life just the way that we're seeking life now. So there's a lot of these elements of like wanting to work 9 to 5, not work 5 to 9 or whatever. But yeah, hopefully like this episode like resonated with you. And if you're someone who relates to either being in the 9 to 5 or living the 5 to 9 experience but want to go full time, let us know in the comments below and just like how you manage that, how you manage like your stress levels, and then maybe even what's kind of been your decision of changing between either or. But if you are a success story who could do both, let us know too, because that's something that I feel like is a gift that you have and possess. But yeah, anyways, you know where to find us. We are at Just One Bite. You can find us on Instagram and on TikTok. We release episodes every Tuesday on YouTube and Spotify. And yeah, hopefully you get to stay tuned. And also, I just want to plug that me and Tiff are back on YouTube.
Yay! We've been posting vlogs.
Like as individual, like on our individual channels.
Yeah,
so
go
like
check it out.
Yeah, because we have been trying to embark more on like our own personal lives too, and not just be on like Instagram and TikTok. So YouTube, hopefully if you connect with us there, like we'll see you on that side.
Yeah, we have fun vlogs.
Yeah.
That have come out already and are incoming. Whether you like the daily vlogs, you like following us on our little like journey when it comes to brand trips and events, or even travel vlogs. I feel like between me and Nina, we've got it all covered, so there's something to watch.
So you can find me at Psycho Food.
You can find me at Take One for the Road.
And if you don't want to go to either of those, you can go here again. But anyways, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.